Um, I need to address an issue of something that happened to me yesterday. I need to mention the frog prince really in this context because it is important to me, this issue, and I've thought about it for a good 24 hours and I think I want to discuss it. I was very aggressively and verbally harangued and attacked yesterday as being some kind of marriage breaker with a hidden agenda to the frog prince. And here's me all the time thinking I was the victim. Goodness. Okay, two males, obviously believing that they needed to defend the frog prince because he's obviously not capable of doing that for himself in their eyes. Well, that's not the man I know. And to give him his credit, he's always been particularly honest about his role in this situation. He's never tried to make himself out to be anything but the problem to me. However, things do change. He hasn't protected me. He hasn't protected our love. He hasn't protected any of the promises. He knew I was coming out of a 12-year exile with regards to a relationship, and I hadn't got any barriers up, and I have ended up extremely damaged and distressed by this situation, of which I've had no control over at all. None. When if you go into it and you choose to do it, that's one thing. When you go into it believing it's something else all along, and then suddenly it's all changed, you've got absolutely, you're vulnerable, you're helpless. The Froglet Diaries is for me. It's to get me through. These two males were kind of saying, get help. You need help. Get yourself sorted. You're a silly woman. You're a marriage wrecker. But what I did was I privately messaged them. Well, no, that's not true. I privately messaged the main instigator because he made references to something which I felt was going to jeopardise the Frog Prince's anonymity, his identity, and those of the innocent people around him. And I've always tried to protect that on here. The Froglet Diaries was a tool for me to get through, to try and make some sense of this situation, to help me and not destroy anybody else by doing that. But if being honest about how you feel and about some of the things that's happened is in any way anyone's fault, I actually think that's the consequences of what's happened to me. And if the Frog Prince doesn't like it, or his followers don't like it, then, I don't like the situation I'm in at all. I don't like the pain I'm in. I don't like feeling the way I feel. I had the idea that I'd met somebody very special who loved me and I loved him, and he was going to be here for me, to protect me, to help me, to love me. That's all I thought. And I've not got angry with him. I'm disappointed, disillusioned, distraught. Yes, all the D words. Absolutely. I thought he was somebody very different than the person who's acting out now. I would love him to do a magic about turn and be that person, but it's not going to happen. This is the reality. And excuse me for finding ways of getting through something like this in the way I choose, but this is the way that's kept me alive, going, hopeful that I can get through this. And if it doesn't suit you too, who have been displeased with that, well, I'm very sorry, but it's really got nothing to do with you. And the part of me that still believes in the Frog Prince as being a good man inside somewhere would like to think he would stand up to you two and tell you to get stuffed, and you don't know what you're talking about, and he may not like me doing the Froglet Diaries either. No, of course he's not going to like it. I don't like anything that he's done. because it goes against everything that I believed him to be and everything he said. And so if this is hurting you two men, and if it's hurting the Frog Prince, maybe that's the consequence of your own actions, of your own beliefs. It's got nothing to do with me at all. Nobody's asking you to watch. Nobody's asking you to stand up for him. He's a man. He's quite capable of standing up to himself or contacting me and saying, I don't like what's happening because. But the fact that I've had to kill the Frog Prince off is a healthy way of moving forward. I can't keep stopping here in my heart hoping some miracle is going to happen, that he's going to suddenly turn up on a white charger as the White Knight in armour and carry me off to the castle. A, for one, he'd need a crane to do that, and B, for two, it's probably gone far too far. How would you ever believe anything again? I'm not asking you to feel sorry for me, but I'm not going to be a victim either to your male viewpoint on this, right? I needed help. This is my help. I needed someone. He wasn't there. He wasn't there for me. You have no idea of the state of someone in that amount of distress feeling the way I felt, being alone with no one to turn to and having to do something like this. And this is for me. And if I had any wish to harm anybody, believe me, I would not be protecting his identity. I would not be protecting their identities. I would have taken up the press offers of a couple of weeks ago and made this global. And so, quite frankly, your opinion is not one of the most important on my agenda at the moment. I know who I am. The people who really care about me know who I am. And I'd like to appeal to the Frog Prince. Protect me with the truth, please. At least do that. Stand up to them and just tell them to butt out. Because you and I both know the truth of this situation, don't we?